Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of the World Football Focus right here on your favorite channel, RTM. And this is a special edition, the Olympics edition. And I have with me discussing the Olympics and much more in the world of sports, Emmanuel Akura, Adaa, and also John Equator are here with me. Anyway, guys, now let's start with the English Premier League. What excited you about the opening day of the Premier League? Which matches excited you guys?
It's quite amazing to see the Premier League back after 72 days or more than that. But it was exciting, especially the first match, which was Leicester City, defending champions, and they were humbled. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Totally, the whole matches. It kind of brings back that feeling of the feel of the normal Premier League season, and it's quite nice to be back in that time.
This is actually the first time in the history of Premier League that since the days of Ferguson, Wenger fighting in those days, that I can see so much passion, so much excitement, so much glamour in the league. Seeing Arsenal playing Liverpool, it was the kind of match we were expecting. A lot of goals we see, despite the fact that Arsenal did not sign players, but they were able to score 3 goals against Liverpool. It was fantastic. And seeing Conte, the way he jubilated with the fans on the pitch on Monday was just out of this world. I can't wait for more of these to come.
Antonio Conte looked like Mick Jagger on stage there, the way he was performing. But let me quickly take you through the results of last weekend. And it was Chelsea 2, West Ham 1. Liverpool 4-3, a good goal by Coutinho there. Wow, I mean, after the game, there were reports that Peter Cech crashed his car by mistake, but nah, that was a suicide attempt, I'm sure of that. And then Manchester United 3-1 against Bournemouth, and your United side seemed to have gotten it together since the appointment of Mourinho. Were you impressed?
I was quite impressed, but although as a new team there will still be some few lapses, but towards the season I believe Mourinho would gather his team up and gear them up to the victory.
All right, moving along, Manchester City, a pep in Guardiola's step, as Manchester City beat Sunderland 2-1 and Swansea 1-0 against Burnley. West Brom 1-0 against Crystal Palace. Everton and Spurs shared the spoils at 1-1. Middlesbrough, Stoke 1 apiece, and Southampton Watford was also 1 apiece. Leicester City, the champions of last season, the surprise champions, losing to the Tigers of Hull City, feeling their mighty roar as they lost 2-1. And guys, now from the first game, is it too early to be able to make assumptions about the top 4, or are things likely to be as unpredictable as last season?
I would say it's too early for anyone to say who is going to make it in the top 4, who's not going to make it in the top 4, because for the past 3 or 4 seasons, we see the likes of Arsenal losing their first game. True. Previous season, they lost 3-1 to West Ham. The other season, again, they lost to Aston Villa at Emmy. Yet they went ahead to finish second on the table. Right now, you see, yes, it's true. A lot of teams are signing players. There's too much money in television right now, where every team, the likes of West Ham, we see them signing players of 20 million to 30 million, which is that shows you one thing, that a lot of them are beginning to believe in themselves, that they can actually make it, because Leicester City were able to win the league last season. So if they can also strengthen their teams, they're going to be able to finish in the top 4, maybe Champions League, or even win the league. They're beginning to believe in themselves. But I still don't see the top 4, I don't see that changing very much, because you have like Arsene Wenger on the other hand, who has been well experienced in Premier League. He has a team that has been together for so many years. You have a Conte coming in Chelsea, who also have good players. You have a Man City side. You have a coach who want to win the league, not just finish in the top 4. And Man United, we all saw they've started very good with a coach who has been in the league for a long time, and he believes in himself on winning. He wants to win the league, not just finish in the top 4. So it's going to be very tight, but I don't see these top teams dropping out.
You don't see. And for you, John Equator, you have a different belief?
I will go with him there. If we look at the likes of Leicester City and Tottenham, you see the shaky effect. And now the pressure will start to tell on them. Last season, we saw that the competition they had in that top 4 was not really much, because all the normal top 4 teams were struggling. But now that there's a different approach, there's a real approach. Most of the top four, even Arsenal that we all say they've not signed, we've seen them pull out 30 million to get a defensive midfielder. So it shows that there's a statement of intent. The normal top 4 team, the big clubs as the European, as the Champions League organizers will say, the big clubs need to go back to the Champions League, and that's the motive they have this season.
Okay, that's the motive they have indeed. And Leicester City, well, let's see whether they can actually pull out a rabbit from the hat. But everybody feels that the loss of Kante, well, meant the loss of the top 4 status. And for Arsene Wenger and his men, well, they fell victim to actually having an inexperienced back line. For me, I don't know about you guys, but Coutinho, his free kick was the goal of the opening weekend.
It's very good, and one good thing about that guy is he's playing under a coach who has allowed him to express himself in a way of he has given him freedom to.
Klopp, did you see the passion? That's the Anfield spirit right there with Liverpool.
It's what I'm saying to you, Adelani. We're seeing so much passion in Premier League this season. This is the Premier League that we all know. This is the Premier League where we see coaches shouting, not sitting, getting excited when they win matches. This is the Premier. And this is actually one of the first time we're having like 10 of the best coaches in the world in Premier League. I can't wait for more excitement to come.
Yes, and Manchester United, Manchester United actually look like fantasy football when you look at their team. It is star-studded with Idakadabra. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, my good friend, always says, say his name 3 times and you will get a goal. And Zlatan scored on his debut for Manchester United. Paul Pogba made his debut last night for Manchester United, and they're looking very strong indeed. Anyway, on this note, we'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we would have to discuss the Olympics, and there's so much to get through in our Olympic section. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the World Football Focus, our Olympic special, just for your viewing pleasure today. And we've spoken a little bit about the English Premier League, and I've told you that this section will be focusing on the Olympics. But before we actually do that, well, there's a Manchester United fan that actually held me ransom during the break. We had to pay some ransom to have me released to come back to present this show for you. And he wants to actually air some of his views about Manchester United's first performance. Well, we like to keep our guests happy on the World Football Focus, so we'll allow him to take it away. Now tell me, Manchester United's first performance, what stood out for you, what needs to still be done, and etc.?
I believe if you look at the tactics Jose Mourinho used during the last weekend, you would realize that it's always very hard for a center forward who is just focused on scoring goals to function in the Premier League if he doesn't have support from the side. But he successfully used Ibrahimovic. We saw Ibrahimovic, he can hold the ball. He's good aerially and he's good with his feet. And he distributed the ball. He didn't just act as a striker. He acted as a supporting striker for other players playing at his back, which is incredible for a player known for goal scoring. He did so many assists. And what he's even contributing to the club is not just about goal scoring. It's about motivating the other players. Soon you see the likes of Lingard playing like he's a world-class player just because he's playing alongside a world-class player. And incredible goals, everyone knows Ibrahimovic for. He brought that to the table. And that is exactly what Mourinho's philosophy is all about. Incredible.
Okay. And quickly before we move away from the Premier League, just want to ask you this question. Yeah. Now, there are rumors circulating, or there's a lot of talk of Alexis Sanchez telling Arsenal that he would like to leave the club. Any truth in these?
From where I'm standing, I think that is the truth because, one thing to keep bigger players happy in a club is for you to be able to motivate them and let them understand that you're actually serious about winning trophies. And if look at the entire transfer, Arsene Wenger did not make any major signing that we tell these guys that, okay, they want to actually, the coach is serious about winning trophies, they want to play. You're looking at Manchester United, Chelsea, Man City, making those transfer, signing quality players just to try and strengthen the team. But we are not seeing that with Arsene Wenger. So if something like this is coming out, like he said last season, that the players were not serious. He said something like that last season. That tells you that these guys want you to sign players and win trophies for Arsenal, which Arsene Wenger is not doing. So if he says something like that, I believe.
Yeah, we all know Arsene Wenger is always used to chasing, monitoring the specific players that he wants. And if you look at the types of players he has been buying over the years, you see kind of similarities in their style of play. If you cannot hold the ball and pass the ball, you are not his type of player. If you cannot do those 1-2 touches, he's not the kind of player.
English Premier League and football in general has evolved. If you look at Arsene Wenger in those days of Henry, he has the likes of Vieira, Gilberto Silva. These were the kind of players that can win you a league. And he has gone for 13, this is a 13th season without winning the Premier League. Players will grow tired. You look at the likes of Fabregas, they left Arsenal because Arsene Wenger wasn't signing players that would give them the impression that this coach want to win trophies. Yeah. So now the likes of Sanchez are beginning to see that Sanchez, as good as he is, a Copa America winner twice, back-to-back, now he wants to also win Premier League. Let him have it that he...
Oh, gentlemen, I mean, we could talk about the English Premier League for a very, very long time. We could talk about it till even the Judgment Day, but guys, we have to move on. Paul Pogba, Jose Mourinho recently said he could be the world's best footballer. I wonder what you guys think. I mean, he pointed out to the fact that he might struggle to win the Ballon d'Or award because he doesn't score enough goals. He scored 34 goals since moving from Manchester United for Juventus, and you have the likes of Lionel Messi scoring 374 career goals and Ronaldo scoring 364 career goals. Are these guys even human? Well, someone has to check and definitely get back to us. And we have to move on to another person that he doesn't seem human. We don't know whether Usain Bolt belongs to this earth because he was injured and he still won gold at the Olympics. He wasn't running with people that exactly were handicapped, able-bodied men, and Usain Bolt still won gold in Rio. Now, what makes this guy unbeatable?
It's quite amazing that Usain Bolt is one of those players that they've been testing consistently because everything he does is just amazing. In the 100 meters finals, everyone was tipping Justin Gatling because Usain Bolt keep reiterating the fact that he's not in the fittest point in time. But the distance between him and Justin Gatling was just amazing. He did the same thing in the 200 meters final.
In 19.78 seconds. Amazing.
And you need to also understand something about these guys is the passion they have for what they do. Is why if you come to Africa here, we only have Ethiopia, Kenya doing us proud when it comes to athletes. And that is because of the preparation, the kind of zeal that they have to win these things. They have to compete with the rest of the world. We don't have that, like in Nigeria where we come from, we don't have those things. We don't have in other places where, because I was watching this guy and I see his preparation. He lives for this. He eats this. He goes for it. Every time, it's like somebody who's dreaming about it every day. So, I mean, I don't see anybody right now matching these guys.
But there's one other thing you should understand. Just like how Nigeria has performed woefully, we've not even had anyone who has come close to even the third position. And we realize that, you get to realize that five British medalists in the Olympics are actually Nigerians. There's some in Canada, even some in the United States, which shows the level of passion that is being regarded in Nigeria, the level of coordination. If we look at South Africa, although they've not been doing, they didn't do very well in this, but the level of preparation that was put into into the Olympians that went to represent them was incredible, and it quite told. They have a youngster who won the 400 meters, not just winning it, but breaking the world record. It's amazing. Even just one gold medal could tell.
It's what I was actually talking to Adelani about our soccer team, because the poor state of infrastructure in Africa and Nigeria, to be exact, Nigeria, you will look at it that these players, these athletes or whatever it is, they don't get enough preparation. I mean, quality preparations for them to go for tournaments like this. Then what do you expect at the end of the day? We are sitting at home expecting them for a miracle to happen, for them to win. We are praying. But this sport has gone beyond that praying alone. The prayers without action, to me, it's nothing.
All
you
right.
know, you have
now,
to.
let's, sorry to cut you short, but we have to move on to someone that his prayers have definitely been heard in this Olympics, and is Wade van Niekerk. And that name has definitely become a household name in South Africa recently, breaking the record of Michael Johnson. Yeah. And it's quite amazing. I mean, it is a 17-year record, and Wade has done so, just signed a contract with Nike, 30 million rand. Contract, and he was also given an Audi recently. Now, Wade van Niekerk, I mean, it is actually different to see a runner on the outside lane break a record. I mean, what stuck out for you in that race?
It's quite amazing that before the Olympics, people didn't realize this very South African runner was actually the world. He was the world best. He was not a world record breaker, but he was ranked as the #1 in the 400 meters. And he has been doing this over the years. This year, he has had a very perfect record in terms of the 400 meters race. And he proved himself clean and pure. There was no really surprise in his face when he actually won the race. He was just bending down and looking, unlike other players that would run.
Because he was
Usain Bolt
expecting it.
actually came to congratulate him. I mean, there was talk that him and Usain Bolt actually trained in Jamaica.
That's quite right. Immediately after Usain Bolt won his 100 meters race, he actually ran to the stands where Van Cok was, and he went to celebrate with Van Cok, which shows amazing team spirit and amazing passion for the.
Well, Wade, amazing stuff. Congratulations on behalf of the World Football Focus. And it's so funny. We've been seeing all these funny the mimes and people putting things up on social media, just begging you not to do anything crazy and touch your girlfriend, like our very own did a couple of years back on Valentine's Day, and is now in jail. We know who I'm talking about, but definitely we know Wade is a well-behaved boy, and his girlfriend is in safe hands. And moving along, Caster Semenya. Now, Caster Semenya has been making headlines of late, and people have been talking, is it a man, is it a woman? Well, relax everybody, she's competing in the women's section, and we're going to take her as that. All we care about now is a performance on the field, and she's qualified for the finals, winning the semi-finals, the 800 meters. Semenya, does she have a chance to actually win it this year? 2012, she won silver. Is this her year?
I believe she's quite strong, because if you look at the qualifying round, she has been improving in her time runs, and it shows that there's a desire to go beyond the silver position. Currently, she is one of the best 800 meters female runners, and I don't see anybody taking that position from her this time around.
I think she will be able to. She will go far, because you see the determination is there. It's one thing we're talking about here, about the preparation of these people. The government is supporting them. We've not seen a situation in South Africa where you hear stories about inadequate preparation made for these teams or these athletes. They're out there doing it. Caster Semenya has been around for a while now. She has done it. She has proven to the entire world that she is up for it. And every day she is hungry to to be up there among the best and be able to achieve something. And right now she's making Africa proud by doing what she's doing.
Yeah, making Africa proud. Briefly, let's talk about the medals table. We could see that the United States is leading the medal table, Great Britain in second, China right after Great Britain, then Germany, then we have Russia, and well, hey, Africa basically are not coming to the party, so to speak, so far. We know that Nigeria, they haven't managed to secure gold, but I mean,
talking about silver or bronze,
or bronze, but the Nigerian dream team definitely had us dreaming, but Germany gave us a rude awakening during the week. Now, what happened with that team?
You see, one of my biggest challenges with Nigerian football team, either dream team or senior team or the sleeping team, wherever, is the lack of tactics. If we put pen and paper together and let's draw down the German players with the Nigerian players, would realize that we have better quality than them. But tactics, a player playing in his rightful position, the defensive players playing like defensive players, the attackers playing like attackers, not Mikel Obi playing number 9, and number 9 playing number 7, and number 7 playing number 2. That is the biggest problem of Nigerian football team, and it told.
And you know, another thing I saw in that game is the Nigerian national team, they respected Germany too much, to a point that allowed the German to detect the tune of the game. That wasn't, as a big team that you have been playing, because I often have seen Nigeria in this tournament, the way they were performing. They force you to play the way they want you to play. And they attack you from the beginning to the end. But that day, I was surprised to see Nigeria actually playing the German way of playing football. We don't play that football. Play your football. Try to impose your own style, your own way of playing also on the German side.
Something that I have to remind you, that if you're playing your tactics right, you would hold the ball. Nigeria couldn't play their style.
I understand what you're saying, John.
Because they were not with the ball.
I understand what you're saying, but sometimes you need to change your tactics, which is what you're talking about. I agree with you on that. But then if you look at the Nigerian team on that night, we understand the philosophy of football that this guy has instilled, that they have been playing for a while now in this tournament, is that we attack you from the beginning of the game to the end, which is something Nigeria afraid to do on that day. They wanted to play. They were holding the ball within the midfield. When Nigeria hold the ball, it's like Nigeria is 5 and Germany is 13 on the field. Because you don't see Nigerians attacking. You see them holding the ball, trying to do what Germany is doing. Germany is doing that and attacking you. It's penetrating your defenders a lot of times. We're even lucky not to concede more than 5 or 6 goals.
Mr. Emmanuel, if you look at the statistics, you would realize that Germany had more fouls conceded than Nigeria. Yes. That shows you that anytime they lose the ball, they fight very hard to get the ball and distribute the ball tactically. And the biggest challenge with Nigerian football team, which I will still stress, is the issue of tactics. Playing to formation. We see Mikel would have controlled the tempo of the game, but he was playing out of his position.
I understand what you say. He's playing out of position because you know him playing that position in Chelsea. But in Super Eagles, he has not been playing that position. So we don't say he's out of position. It's a position we all know him for. He plays number 10 for Nigeria. But when he comes to Chelsea, he plays as a holding midfielder, which is something, these are two different things. I complained about this from the beginning of this tournament, that if I am the coach, Miguel should drop deep and assist the defenders. Because when he's not assisting the defenders, there's no midfielder in front of the defender. The defenders are exposed to danger, and we saw that against the German side. That is well organized, a more compact team that on that night they were determined also to win. We didn't play our football on that night. What I've seen us play in this tournament, we did not play it.
If you look at the style of play Germany played, it was not like they were attacking. Their coach was just like, play to my tactics and you will get the win. Just play to my tactics.
They had more shots on target.
They had more shots on target because they were well coordinated. You will see 3 players going on attack, every other player in the midfield. They know that Nigeria plays all counter attack. Everybody goes out. And they were expecting that. That's why they played to a quality formation.
We can sit here and blame the boys for that match or their performance in the Olympics so far, but we're forgetting one major thing, that how did these guys prepare? How did they got to this point where they are misbehaving or they played as badly as they did? It's because
because before the games there were talks about bonuses and actually the players refusing to train, and at the end of the day, did that come back to affect them?
Yes, that also can kill the morale of the team.
If I'm to stress something, where was all those complaints during the group stage? Where was all those complaints during the quarterfinals? Where were all those complaints before they got eliminated? They were winning their matches convincingly, showing for everyone that those teams they were playing were not tactically sound. It was until they faced a team of high pedigree.
There's something you need to understand.
Okay,
we have never.
So if they had paid their bonuses, would they have beaten Germany?
What I'm saying to you, Adelani, what I'm saying to you is this: it's not just about the money. No, what I'm saying is this: sometimes it's good for you to motivate people. We've never had any team in this tournament that's participating in this competition that this is the problem they're having with their FA. Only Nigeria, that we have a situation whereby players are not being paid. Even to buy food is a problem for these guys. These guys are only doing this because of the love they have for the nation. But if you are then motivating them, there's a level to which they can go.
Ima, can I remind you of something? The issue of the players not being paid, it's not just a Nigerian issue. We've seen it in Ghana. We've seen it in Algeria that did the whole continent proud in the last World Cup. We saw it.
It's an African thing.
It's an African. It's a trait that is spread out across the country, across the continent rather. But what else can we pick as a problem for failure?
No, I am not blaming it based on the financial aspect of it. But I'm talking about, when you're talking about motivation, it's not just about the financial package that comes with it. I'm talking about the totality of this team, the entire team. I'm talking about how this team, from the financial aspect of it, from the moral support they did not get from the government or the people back home. They were there without anybody being with them, doing things on their own, believing that they are on their own without any support back home. These are things, we have to put these things into consideration.
And one of the funny things that got me amazed that night that Nigeria got knocked out, the Brazilians were in support of Nigeria, hoping that Nigeria would get to the final to play against Brazil. And get knocked out in the final.
We were coming to that because that prayer, thankfully for Nigerian fans, was not answered. Wow, amazing stuff. Because Brazil in the semifinals, they almost spelled Honduras, or did they? It was close.
That was a very horrible.
Maybe it was Hondu.
No, I promise you.
They spelled Hondu, H-O-N-D. Okay, yeah, that's Hondu, basically 6-0.
The worst
6-0 in the semifinals. But hey, Brazil are in the final to face Germany, and they put up a good performance because Brazil, they started slowly.
I believe
they couldn't even beat Iraq.
Yeah, I believe with a team having Neymar and Gabriel, you have to score that amount of goal. The quality in the midfield, the quality in the attack is enough to get you 6-7 goals against the lowly class Honduras.
So who are we tipping to win the gold between Germany and Brazil?
I'm going with the German side.
I believe the home team. It's quite unfortunate that we see statistics go against Brazil, especially when they play in a crowded home support. If we saw that in the semi-finals against Germany, the female team in the Olympic semi-final, they got beaten by Sweden. Sorry, they got beaten, and they were the ones controlling the game. Maybe the fans got into their head and
I don't see anything special about that Brazilian team, I tell you. Because I watched the game against Honduras, and what I saw in that game, it was just the referee winning the game for Brazil. as a home advantage. I didn't see any other thing. No, I tell you, because I saw so many mistakes, so many bad officiating. I saw a whole lot of things that I was very upset about.
But on a normal day, Honduras would definitely go down the drains to Brazil.
All right. Well, before we wrap up our Olympic special on the World Football Focus, I would just like to ask the gentleman, any moment during the Olympics that inspired you personally?
If we go into swimming, just as Brazil has been doing fantastic in the football side, America completely took a clean sweep of swimming, and it's quite amazing that
Michael Phelps was
the regular suspect, and there was someone new, absolutely new to the world of swimming, Simeon Biles. She came in totally unknown, and the gymnastics rather came in totally unknown and took 4 gold medals and 1 silver. And Simeon Minuel from gymnastics as well took 2 golds. Katie Ledeck, she was 10 years ago, she was taking autographs from Michael Phelps, and 10 years later Michael Phelps is the one asking for autographs from her. She took 4 gold medals and 1 silver, breaking an Olympic record in the Olympics.
Just like what he said, like the Simone Biles that you talk about, is one story that inspired me a lot. Because if you look at this is life at Adelani. When you don't have a reason to why you wake up every morning and do what you have to do, then you are not living a life. Whatever it is that you're doing is just useless. But when you have to remember, you have to have that in your mind. Remember yourself. Remind yourself every time that this is why I am doing this. I have a family at home. When I don't do what I do, they are going to suffer. A lot of people are looking up to me. What do I do? So that alone should keep you going and give you the motivation that you need for you to go far in life.
Incredible, inspirational words there from Emmanuel Akura and also John Equator, giving us their the motivational moments in Rio for them so far. Well, guys, I hope you heard what they've had to say, and I hope you've been inspired by their words. This is a wrap-up of our Olympics edition of the World Football Focus. I will be back giving you much more next week, so you just have to stay tuned. Well, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening and the rest of your RTM view. Until next time, goodbye.